everyone! So today I'm here to review the new Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blushes, which look like this. It comes in 6 different shades, I of which own three of them. So obviously I'll be reviewing those ones today. They individually retail for $35 US, $41 in Canada, and are 0.15 ounces each. The 3 shades that I own are Luminous Flush, which is described as a champagne rose, Diffused Heat, which is described as a vibrant poppy, and Mood Exposure, which is described as a soft plum. Before we get started, as always, I want to mention the packaging. It's super sleek, it's compact, and on the inside it does feature a mirror. Like all of Hourglass's other packaging, it's super luxurious feeling, it's golden, it's shiny, it's mirrored, it's beautiful. Just be warned that, like normal mirrored packaging, it holds fingerprints like nobody's business. It's just, if you're, as I drop it, if you're the kind of person that can't handle fingerprints on packaging, or you need like pristine, perfect looking makeup, these are gonna drive you insane. That is all. And just for comparison's sake, this is the blush, this is a ambient lighting powder. As you can see, it's the exact same packaging. The blush is obviously a little smaller, but it's a blush. So that's the size difference between these guys. On to the blushes in general. The quality and texture of them is consistent in all shades. The formula for them is exactly like the ambient lighting powders. It applies and it feels the exact same on the skin as the powders. The blushes are soft, silky, finely milled, delicate, and leave the skin luminous and radiant. But because they are so soft and delicate, a light hand or a fluffy brush is key when pressing your brush into the powder, because it's very easy to pick up too much product. So I found a brush like a stippling brush or a very fluffy powder brush works a lot better. When I first tried using these, I used just a regular blush brush and I found it to be almost too dense. I felt like it was a little bit difficult to diffuse the color evenly on my cheeks. The color of these blushes are true to pan, so if you can imagine all the colors swirled together, that's exactly what it's gonna look like when you apply it to your cheek, even though that marble effect is there. So they're not overly pigmented because there is that color and then there is the powder of the marble effect. So it's not gonna be like a regular like Makeup Forever blush where it's just like pigmentation to the max and you need to use the smallest amount to cover. You can use a fair decent amount of product to apply to your cheeks, but exactly what it looks like in the pan is exactly what it's gonna look like on your cheeks. But with that said, of course, depending on your skin tone, some of the lighter shades may not work as a blush for you. They might be too light, so you could always opt out and use them as a highlight instead. Luminous Flush is a pinky coral with warm undertones and a very fine gold shimmer. When applied, this blush is pigmented. It is true to pan, so it's going to be what you see. It is smooth, silky, and it blends out nicely. The really great thing about these blushes is depending on your personal preference, you can either build it up to an intense color or you can shear it down into just a little flush of something there. With this particular shade, I noticed slightly less noticeable shimmer to it, and it had more of a satin finish when applied to the skin. Diffused Heat is a soft medium pink with warm undertones and a hint of very fine shimmer. Like Luminous Flush, it is pigmented, it's true to pan, so it's going to be what you see. It's smooth, silky, and blends out nicely. And of course, again, depending on your preference, you can either build the color up or dumb it down. Mood Exposure is a dusty rose plum with a satin finish. It looks slightly cool toned in the pan, but when applied to the skin, it has visible warmth to it. Just like the other 2 blushes, it has great color payoff, it's true to pan, and again, just like the other ones, depending on your personal preference, you can either tone up the color or you can tone down the color very easily. It's smooth, silky, and blends out nicely, just like the others. Overall, these are very luxuriously silky blushes. They are fantastic. All 3 held up well over 7 hours before showing any noticeable fading. It's very, very subtle, and when it does start to fade, it kind of just fades like that. So it starts on the edges and slowly works its way in. It's very, very minimal. It's hardly noticeable, and they're really nice powders. Because some of the shades do have very fine, subtle shimmer to it, I was almost concerned that wearing a highlight with them would be overkill, especially since they are the same formula and texture as the ambient lighting powders, which are highlights. I felt like it was going to be overkill, but luckily you can still get away with wearing a highlight with these blushes. It just adds to the luminous, glorious, glowing effect. They're beautiful. So basically they're flawless on the skin, they're silky, they're delicate, they're smooth, they're finely milled, they are just gorgeous blushes. If you picked up any of these blushes, let me know which ones and what you thought of them in the comments below. Be sure to check out my blog for more details, photos, and swatches. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to show your support. Otherwise, have a fantastic day, and thank you so much for watching.